I'm going to talk and not hear anything, which is fine. So I have no idea what I can hear. Right. So about me, we've got coffee coming up, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Jamie's done the intro, so you've heard a bit about me. I've got 3 slides to go through, and I'm going to start with finding the right page. So 3 slides. We've got a success summit we're talking about. Does success equal money? I guess that's where my head started when I started writing this presentation. So a bit of audience participation. Someone, or at least a handful, are going to come off. Does success equal money? Yes or no? If you can raise hands, we go with the left hand. My left hand is yes, and the right hand is no, or whichever way. So come on, give me some audience participation. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Zoe. I can see some hands waving, which is brilliant. So it was a question I thought to myself when I was working this, actually. Is it? I don't think it is. I think success doesn't equal money. I think success is very much about what you make of it, and money is a substance, is an enabler of doing that. And I think sometimes we get fixated on the fast cars, the chunky bank balances, the fancy holidays. You know, all those bits are an extra, right? They're part and parcel of outcomes and why we do, but they're not a measure of success. The measure of success for us is about, you know, what are we looking to achieve in our lives and what's happening. And I just wanted to sort of dispel that. If people go, I think it's right. You know, you get lucky on Bitcoin, but it's not really success, is it? Success is what life means to you and what your goals and mindset is. Do you need money to be successful? Do you actually need money in your pocket to have a life, run a business, and be successful? I think there are massively 2 arguments here. One says, of course you do, but how do you pay for food, energy, electric, rock up on Zoom, have the shirts? You know, money pays for things. But do you actually need it, or do you choose to use somebody else's money? Always question that one. It's a big one that I think drives a lot of people. Go, well, why would you not use your own money? Why would you use somebody else's? Inflation is the reason why you use somebody else's money. If Jamie borrowed £1,000 of me today, and I said, pay me back in a year's time, the £1,000 that he used today would be worth less than £1,000 in a year's time. He, of course, would benefit from that. I would get back my £1,000 and I go, great. But if I could pay for a holiday with that money today, can't pay for it tomorrow, because the value of money changes, which is why people talk a lot about using leverage and why inflation is so important. That's why the newspapers bang on about, you know, savers getting no return, because they don't get the return because inflation erodes the value of money. So that's why, on the one hand, you don't need money to run a successful business and be a success, because you borrow somebody else's and give it them back later. But that's, you know, that starts to talk about leverage and goes into a very different kind of mindset. It still comes back to being successful isn't about the amount of money. It isn't about having money. It's about having a mindset and a life that means that you get out of it what you need. And then what is important and successful to me and a value is not important and successful to everybody else. And, you know, it comes back to individuality. I've got 4 points about how you can be successful. And I've purposely raced through the first few slides to get to this one, because this is the bit that I think is really important. So we'll start top left, which is about the mindset. You know, I think everybody so far today has mentioned mindset as being a crucial part of either their own growth or of how they, you know, proceed and present. That's the mindset themselves or the mindset of the customer, as Stu mentioned right at the very beginning of the process. So for me, this is about how confident are you with money and how you feel about it. So that's, you know, emotion kicks in. Emotion is a huge driver as running a business owner. If any of you see any of my social posts, you'll see that that forms a big part of kind of my world and my messages, which is, you know, money can be an emotive topic. Either you've got enough and you're relaxed and happy, or you haven't got enough and you're probably stressing and going, where's it going to come from? And so that confidence level comes from, I may not have what I need today, but I'm going to get there. And so that's the message around, you know, how confident you are. And then how do you feel about it? Are you that person that the minute they've got something, they go and spend it? You know, the adage probably goes, you know, burning a hole in your pocket. It's true. Do you have it, or do you know what you're going to do with it? And I think that's really important, because some people hold on to their money, don't want to let it go, and, you know, it kind of gets locked away in a cupboard. Others go, actually, do you know what? That's the holiday, that's the car, whatever they wanted to do at the time. Instant gratification was what Shell called it earlier on. And absolutely that plays a massive part in terms of what's going on. Bottom left, having a plan. If you've got a plan and you're anxious about money, you can ride that through, because you've already told yourself today, based on what I know of my business and what's happening, I'm going to be here in 3 weeks' time, for example. So all of a sudden, you know what's there. You prepare yourself for what's going on. It's a bit like running through this presentation before you do it. You can run through it so many times and still only prepare yourself for what happens, like audio being terrible, for example. So really, that's where the plan brings in. It means you can look at today and go, where do I want to be? What do I need to get, and what do I need to make happen to make that work? And it won't be perfect, because plans are not meant to be perfect, but it gives you a starting point and means that you can survive. Education. I've got 2.5 minutes left. I could talk for hours about how I think education on money is so important. Martin Lewis has drived in a education into schools. Deloitte run a program in terms of education in high schools. I can see that the typo that I wrote in here about education has not been saved by Canva, so you can all see it's a Canva presentation. But still, it's a massively important part of what's going on. It feeds into the mindset and it draws into the plan. So anything that we can do to drive that educational and well-being in relation to that is hugely important. And then finally, asking for help. So it's a hard thing to do sometimes. I know throughout my career, I've probably been bad at asking for help. We're humans, right? We want to help each other. So finding those people that can support you and make the world happen, whether it be money, marketing, health, you name it, firing chickens out of a cannon. Sorry, Peter, but I'm going to have to use that more than once. It's about driving that, having the right expertise and support across all of your life, not just one area. And really, we just want to help each other. That's why we become part of Circles. It's why we do what we do. And so that, that's really where I would leave it in terms of this session. Just a final thank you for me in terms of what's there. I'm about 1:30 ahead. So maybe that means coffee early. Over to you, Jamie.